Welcome to Beyond Film School, where I tell you all about the film industry. I'm Amber. Thank you for joining me. All right, so today we're going to be talking about not being liked in the film industry, and I really feel like this is something that really gets to people, and it really is something that they feel may hold them back. So we're definitely going to get deep in this. All right, so not being liked. I feel like this is definitely like a part of life, unfortunately. And I feel like this is a really, really big point of anxiety for people when they are trying to enter honestly, when I talk about entering the film industry, I mean, this could go for like anything, really. But I think it's more with the film industry because it feels like it's a very small community, right? And it's like kind of like a boys club for some females trying to get in or some women trying to get in. I know some people don't like the word female, so I don't mind it, but I know other women don't like using the word female. But being a woman trying to work in film, you're worried like, are you gonna be liked? Are you gonna try and fit in? And those are really some really big concerns because it kind of like, it gets at you at your core of who you are as a person, right? It's like a personal attack. If they don't like who you are, then like, how am I gonna do this, right? It's like, no, I mean, honestly, like, you think everyone likes me? Definitely not. And I will say that over and over again in this live stream because some people are like, how can they not like you, Amber? Trust me on this. There are so many people who do not like me. And you know what I say to that? Fuck off. That's what I say to that. And you have to really have that mentality. And that's a live stream, guys. I hope you like that advice. Just tell everyone to F off, and that's it. And that's how you're going to win everybody over. And just live your life to the fullest extent. No, but really, it is a concern. And when I realize that someone doesn't like me on set or someone doesn't, like what I'm doing or like how I operate or like what I've said or anything like that, I do feel like it does hurt. It hurts you. It hurts your feelings. You're like, why doesn't this person like me? What have I done? The first thing you need to realize when you are working in film is that there's all types of people. So many different types of personalities, all different types of backgrounds, sexual orientation, all different types of folks you will encounter on set. And while diversity is amazing, right? But like, you're not gonna mesh with everybody. It is so impossible. It is really, really impossible to mesh with everybody. You're going to find people you mesh with, you're going to find people you love, people you like to work with, and you're going to find people you hate working with. I mean, it is just a fact of life. You're going to get the people you are like, oh my God, I can't wait to work with them again. I cannot wait, right? But on the flip side of that, it's like you're going to get the people who don't like you, and you're going to get the people who love you, right? You're going to get people who can't stand you. And it's like I think just realizing that, just sitting down with yourself and being like, it's normal. Not everyone's going to like me. Not everyone I'm going to be able to win over. I'm not going to get the best out of everybody. Like that's usually the goal when you're working on set, trying to like mesh well and trying to get the best out of everybody around you. But it's really impossible, right? You can try and make the environment and atmosphere a little bit better, but you can't win them all. And as soon as you sit yourself down and you realize, you really just like think about it. It's like, this is impossible. Not everyone is going to like you, and you're not going to like everybody. And that's the thing you have to realize. It's like, you are not going to like everybody, right? You definitely have your preferences. You definitely have your preferences and who you like, who you dislike. So it's the same when you flip it around. Not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone's going to like your jokes. Not everyone's going to like your sense of humor. Not everyone's going to like the way you dress. Like, it's so funny. I just saw gosh, I can't remember the Instagram account, but like one of their reels, and there was a girl who documented another classmate, and she documented everything she wore every day, and it was like some crazy stylish outfit, like, and it's almost like she was doing it to mock her almost, but almost kind of like, oh, she's being over the top, or she was maybe envious at the same time. And that's the thing you have to realize is like, sometimes when people don't like you, it's because they're jealous of you. And I don't want to really bring that up. And I didn't think about this when I was doing my outline, but I'm thinking about it now. It's like, if you are a super hard worker, if you're an overachiever, which I feel like overachiever is kind of like a negative term in a weird way. If you are someone who strives, for excellence, someone who's like really trying to live their best life, go after your dreams, trying to, you're you're really ambitious, you're going after what you want, you know, you're really productive. My friends make fun of me all the time about how productive I am, but it's only because they are like, I want to be like you, which is like flattering, but also like, don't make fun of me because I've done 8 things so far today and you've done 1. You know what I mean? So it's sometimes if someone doesn't like you, it's a point of like envy or a point of jealousy. And that's something that, you know, if you have someone that doesn't like you, I don't want to be like, hey, you're doing something right if someone hates you. I think so, right? Because if you are pleasing everybody, who are you really getting to know? And that's something like I really think about. It's like, if you're friends with everybody, who are you really going deep with? If you like everybody, like it's okay. Tell me in the comments, honestly, is it possible to really like everybody? Because I really, really think it is not. It is not possible to like everybody. Now, I will tell you this: every person I work with on set, literally every person I work with on set, I will find something that is good about that person, or like maybe they are, you know, they might be a grumpy dude. They might be like an asshole. They might be a huge bitch when I'm working with them, right? But then I'm like, you know what? But she really does that Exhibit G really freaking good. Or maybe she really works with that background really well. Or she's decisive. You know, like some directors I didn't really like personally, but they made their days, they were really fast, or they knew what they wanted, exactly what they wanted. I want to get into the filmmaking and I love it a lot, but I'm afraid of not getting clients. I'm still young too, but I always overthink about this. Don't even worry about that stuff. Don't even worry about it. Like, you realize that you're overthinking it, don't even worry about it. I mean, focus on getting that first client, getting the word out there, and then like going from there. Like, don't even worry about it. Because some people are worried about them being too young. And I think a point of not being liked is like, oh, well, I'm too young. People are not going to hire me because I'm too young or something like that. And that's a worry for a lot of folks who are like in their early 20s. So I get it. I've definitely been there. But also looking back on my early 20s, I'm just like, well, who was I as a person? I didn't even know who I was, and I probably didn't even know what I wanted. But Julian, no, humans are not designed to be good, deep friends with everybody. Thank you so much, Julian Sight. Thank you so much for that. I need some reassurance here, because I mean, if I'm saying some stuff that you guys are like, this broad is crazy, but like, honestly, it is not like normal for you to get along with absolutely everybody. And I mean, and when I see people on set who are like super charming and super flattering, and some people call me charming, and I'm like, wait a minute, what are you saying about me? But when I see people who are really charming on set, and I realize that they're like friends with everybody, I start to wonder, I'm like, what's going on with this person? I really start to like take that second look at them, because I'm like, are they able to, I don't want to say be two-faced or anything like that, but it's kind of like you're adjusting your personality almost to appease every different type of personality out there. That's a lot of work, right? I'm saying like that is a ton of work that I am not willing to do as a person. I'm sorry. Because honestly, you cannot waste your energy being someone you are not. Like, why would you waste your energy on being someone you're not, just trying to like be friends with everybody and pleasing everybody? Like, please don't do that. You're gonna waste so much energy. You're gonna be mentally drained, mentally exhausted, and it's just not gonna work. It's just not gonna, you're gonna be like burnt out after like the first week of being on set, because you're gonna be with these people 12, 14, 16 hours a day. Hopefully less. I mean, hopefully you have 10-hour days. I mean, I worked in a job where we wrapped in 10 hours every day. I was blessed. I was so blessed. So hopefully you have shorter days. But like, even when you're working like 10 hours, 12-hour days, you're really getting to know these people. So for you to fake it for that many hours is exhausting. You're going to be burnt out for like no reason. And that's when I first started out, when I first stepped on set, and I'm not counting when I was a camera assistant, like when I started out in New York and I was a set PA and I was on the AD track, like I had a really bad attitude. I was really closed off. I didn't really understand anything. I was really stubborn, you know, so I was like, what the hell am I doing here? What am I doing? And I was really, really quiet, and I didn't really talk to anybody, because I mean, one, I was a massive introvert, and you guys don't believe this. You don't believe this. I'm an introvert. I am. It is exhausting. Like, after I am done with these live streams, I don't want to talk to anybody for like hours. I want to read a book. I want to go on a run, zone out, not talk to anybody. When I do my set PA classes, I am utterly exhausted, and I'm like, I love doing that, but afterwards I'm like, whew, gotta step back, gotta recharge, don't want to talk to anyone, and obviously my voice is heard after that too. So, but when I'm on set and I'm like trying to be someone that I'm not, and I feel like I was kind of trying to, you know, like when I realized that people weren't really talking to me, well, first of all, my thing was that like I was really standoffish. I was really aloof. I was not someone who was welcoming people to come talk to me, first of all. So like me making friends on set was super, super tough. And thank God that like there was one person that his name is Alex, and he's the second AD now. And I owe a lot of my career to him, because like if he didn't appreciate my work ethic, because I connected with him because I was able to work hard, and he saw that, and he saw that I was trying, I put the effort in, and then we connected on that level. And I think that is lovely when you can kind of look past someone's flaws and be like, they are a good worker though, and I would hire them again. It is a huge thing to kind of be looked at like that, because some people are like really, and this was a big question I had in my CPA class, were like, well, what if I'm an introvert? It's okay. We're all out here, like, half the industry is made up of introverts, man. Like, it's like 50-50 out there. I don't want anyone to think otherwise. You know, like, I can't stress that enough about, like, there are introverts in this field, full on. We need you. Because, like, if we're all extroverts out here, man, whew, nothing against extroverts, but they high energy all the time, can't do it. I need someone that's going to be like okay with silence. Is anyone like really weird about silence? I love when I can be in the room with people and there can be a silence that's not awkward, and introverts achieve this, and I love it. Just saying. So when I was first starting out and I knew someone was giving me a chance, I really had to kind of look at myself. And this is something you should do, because like, why aren't people liking you? Like, why are people not giving you a chance to get to know them or get to know you, right? And that's something you really need to think about, because here's the thing is I will say, like, yes, do you live your best life? Don't be someone who you're not, but also know that you can grow and change and make the proper adjustments to make you a better person that makes you want to be around other people, and other people want to be around you, right? So I definitely had to take a really, really big look at myself, and I was like, what is going on? Like, and also I had anger issues, like, and I still I battle anger issues every day. I work on my patience. There's so many things I've worked on since I first started out in film, where I'm just like, wow, I was a totally different person, but also I was the same person, because I just wanted to make improvements on myself. And I did. I mean, this is the thing that I struggled with, is that, like, yes, I was an introvert, but I also like making friends. Like, I like having friends. It's not that introverts don't like having friends. That's crazy to even think about, right? So introverts like having friends, and people who are quiet still have friends. They still have people they're close with. They interact differently with people. And I feel like this is getting a little really introvert based. I'm going to try and stay away from the introvert extrovert thing, so I don't want to leave the extroverts out here. So if you're, and that's the thing sometimes with extroverts, right? Like, maybe you talk a lot, and there are some people I encounter on set who talk a ton and they want to talk my ear off, and I love talking to them, because sometimes as an introvert, talking to an extrovert is really, really good for me, because they can lead the conversation and they're not going to make me feel weird about it, you know? So like, we all have our place here. And then, like, realizing that, like, what am I exuding here? What am I, like, kind of emitting to everyone around me that doesn't want to talk to me? Like, what am I doing here? Because I did want to have one-on-one conversations, because, you know, that's my strength. One-on-one conversations. Small talk, cannot do small talk. I don't know how people feel about small talk. I can't do small talk, but I can do real conversations where it's like we're talking about a real subject. We're talking about, like, something deep in our lives or something, you know. And it's really hard when you're first starting out and you're just connecting with people, and it's like, oh, where are you from? And, oh, what do you do? What did you go to school for? What are you trying to do in the industry? Which is like, okay, and then hopefully if you get past those questions and you get to something a little bit deeper where you can actually connect with someone, those were the things I was missing. So, I mean, obviously fixing my attitude was a huge thing. That was a huge thing. Like, why am I there? Am I on set and hating it? Or am I going to be on set and I'm going to make the best of it, right? So it's kind of like when you get those, like, menial tasks where you're like, oh, I don't want to do that. But it's like, that's the only thing they gave you to do, so you might as well do it the best you can with the best attitude you can. And I definitely did not have that. And that's why, like, one, they didn't give me more responsibilities, which is like a huge thing. It's like, with each thing they give you, it's like a task, right? So, like, it's a test. It's a test. Each task is a test. So each task, pass that test with flying colors as best you can, no matter what they give you. And that was a huge thing that, like, really held me back when I first started. I was like, why am I doing this dumb shit? Because I guess I had to get over my ego of, like, I should be doing something more than this. I should be doing something better. That type of attitude, which is like, that's gonna get you nowhere fast. And that was the reason why I wasn't hired for, like, a lot of stuff. I was like, why am I not being called back? You really gotta look at, like, who you are as a person and what you can improve on. But then, like, when you get to the spot where you're like, yo, I feel like I'm a well-adjusted person, you know, I have a good attitude, and then people are still like, what the hell? Like, you're still going to have those people, maybe a lot less of those people who are going to be, like, not hating on you. But then you get to the jealousy territory where it's like, you get too good, apparently, and then it's like, oh, well, she thinks she's this, or she thinks she's that, or he thinks he's this and that, or then you get the people saying, like, oh, she or he thinks they're so much better than I am. It's like, you can't even worry about those people, because those people really coming from a place of jealousy because they're not like you, right? They're trying to be like you and they're not like you. So that's the thing. It's like, that's their own problem. Let them have their own problems. Like, honestly, let them have those problems, because that's not about you. That's about them. Okay, that is about them, full on about them. Not everyone's gonna like you. And you got to accept that. You really, really just got to accept it. You got to accept that. It is not possible. It is not possible for everyone to like you unless you are like Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves. I'm sorry. Those are the top two people in the world who I'm like, they cannot be hated by literally anybody. If you hate those two people, something's wrong. I don't know what they're doing, but, like, I don't know how you guys feel about those two actors, but, like, I hear nothing but good things about them. And when you work in the industry, you hear a lot of stories about a lot of different actors, and those two actors I have never, ever heard anything bad about. And I'm like, love those two. When you are not being liked, I talked about your energy. Do not waste your energy, okay? You cannot waste your energy on the people who don't like you, because here's the thing, what happens, and I do this myself, where if someone doesn't like me, I spend the whole day or night or right before I'm about to go to bed, I'm like, why doesn't this person like me? What did I do wrong? How can I have done something differently? What is it that it's like, and you start obsessing about why that one person doesn't like you once you figure out that they don't like you. And you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go, because, like, you're gonna be obsessed, and then it just makes it worse, and then you get more awkward around the person or whatever, and it's like, you just can't do that to yourself. Like, I've definitely been in that spot where you are totally gonna be obsessed with trying to figure out why this person doesn't like you. When you reach a point where maybe you think you are fine with another person on set, like, you think the relationship's fine, and then all of a sudden it takes a weird turn, and you're like, what did I do wrong? It really takes a conversation. And I think a lot of people are really afraid to have those real conversations, those tough conversations, the confrontation that might come from it. And I think being scared of having those conversations, I mean, it takes obviously a sense of maturity. You have to have patience, and you have to have a sense of empathy and understanding, because where they're coming from. You may have done something or said something offensive. You have no idea what you did. And there's no way to know, right? Because you're not in that person's head. You don't know. So you have to be able to be brave enough to strike up a conversation with this person and figure out where it went wrong. You know, and, like, there are people who are going to hate you, and, like, for whatever reason, and you can't waste your energy on those types of people. But when a relationship goes from good to bad, this is where a conversation needs to be had. And you're like, what is it that happened? Like, we can make this, let's figure this out. And I've had those, like, and I had this, with my friend Paula on set, like, last year, and like, we had never had an argument. We have always gotten along, and I don't even remember what it was about, but I was, like, really pissed off, and, like, she was like, what's happening here? And she was mature enough, and this is, like, what I learned from Paula. She is very, very wise. She's never gonna watch this live stream. She's, like, working right now. But, like, that's what I learned from her. Like, she just was like, okay, let's figure this out. Like, we don't have this type of relationship. Like, what's going on? It was like, and she had to, like, drag it out of me, like, what the problem was. Because I'm usually just a person who will just deal with it. I am that person who's just going to be like, you know what? I mean, I'm going to work. I'm going to be civil. I'm just going to be professional. I'm going to do the job I was here to do. But, like, me and her were close. We worked together very, very closely. So we had to like figure out this like, this fissure in our relationship. And it takes a conversation, and it takes patience, and it takes just listening as well. Listening to the other person, and like kind of going over what the problem is. Because maybe you might have said something offensive, and you are just not sure, and you're like, oh shit, I am so sorry that I said that. I did not mean it in that way. I fully apologize. Like it's like being like, just get rid of your ego. And because some people, here's the thing, you don't know what you have done, right? And it takes a lot of, you have to be big. You have to be like, you have to let your ego go. You cannot be stubborn and be like, well, you know what? I have a right to say whatever I want. Well, then you can, but then suffer the consequences of the people around you and how they treat you. Think about that. Like, think about the consequences that come your way when you're treating people like shit and you think you can just go along living your life in insulting whoever you want or saying whatever you want. Like, have a sense of empathy about how those people feel when you say those things. Yo, I'm getting mad right now. Oh my God, I gotta drink some water to calm down. Conflict resolution is gonna be really, really good for you when you have a good relationship going bad. And getting into working with someone that you don't get along with and that doesn't like you and you are just like, I can't stand this person for whatever reason. Doesn't need to be explored what the reasons are. You just don't get along. And I've had these people, and it happened to me a couple weeks ago. And I was on set, I had to work with an AD I do not like working with, and I was just like, you know what, but I'm here. I am here to do a job, and I'm still going to do it with a fucking smile on my face because I like what I do. I like being on set, and I am not going to let him ruin my day. And that is where you got to, like, let your mind go. Like, you have to take your mind to, like, he's not going to ruin my day. I will not let this person ruin my day, right? And don't let them have that power over you. Like, they don't like you. Why are you going to let them ruin your day? Like, don't even pay them any mind. Be civil. Do your job, be professional, but don't let them ruin your day. And man, if you take anything from this live stream, do not let those people ruin your day. It is not worth it. It is not worth, it's just not worth it to have just people just piss all over your day. Who the hell are they? Like, I'm sorry, like, whatever issues they're bringing to you or whatever, they're like projecting their own insecurities onto you. That is like their issue. That is not your issue. So don't even worry about any of that stuff. Like, do not let that stuff bother you at all. So yes, be civil, right? Be civil, be professional, do your job, and don't let them ruin your day, because it is not worth it at all. And don't be afraid to apologize, because sometimes you might not have done anything at all. And like, sometimes we're just having a bad goddamn day, and I've had this where, working with like hair, makeup, and wardrobe every day. And then like one day they're just like kind of off to me. And I'm like, oh, it's not me. It's like because they're just having a bad day. Maybe their supervisor's getting on them. Maybe the producer is making them change like 5 different outfits for the day last minute or something. Like, they, it may not even be about you. You may think they don't like you, but it's probably not even about you. And there are so many times this happened to me where I thought someone didn't like me, and they were like, no, you're great. What are you talking about? And I was like, what? Like, you hear through the grapevine? Like, you're not going to confront them because you're like, well, I'm not going to have an argument with this person, because you're like afraid to confront them about like, why don't you like me? But also like, I'm not going to approach someone and be like, why don't you like me? That's weird. I'm not like, I can figure out why someone doesn't like me, right? I'm not going to go and be like, hey, how come me and you are not working out? Which I guess you could, because I've actually had that happen to me where I worked at a cafe, and for some reason, I just did not like the other barista when I was like, grinding out doing my day player work, and I was working in film and at the cafe at the same time. And for whatever reason, I just, like, she talked in a really soft voice, and it was just like really annoying. And I was like, why? She's got to be faking it. I just was like, she cannot be a real person. And then one day she's like, Amber, we got to work together. Like, what's the issue? And I was just like, how dare you even approach me about this? But she was way more mature than I ever could be at that point. Because I was just like, no, I don't want to talk to you. We're just going to get through the day. And obviously she was right, because like, when you don't get along and you have that like that weird energy between you and you're just like trying to, it's so much more unbearable. It's miserable when you're trying to get through a day and you don't like someone and you just like have this like weird energy and it's like, it's very awkward and uncomfortable. Okay, it's very, very uncomfortable. So I'll say that it's very uncomfortable. So, like, the fact that she was mature, like, that was a learning lesson for me, and I'm like, okay, well, and then, like, we started talking a little bit about it and whatever, and, like, I didn't obviously say, like, I find you as a very annoying person, I didn't say that to her, but, I mean, I forget how that all panned out, but, like, we ended up being friends, funny enough, and sometimes all it takes is a conversation, all it takes is that one person to be like, hey, what's going on, what the hell's going on here, but also, if someone doesn't like you, they may just be having a bad day. Don't think it's you. It's not even about you. Most of the time, it's not even about you. They probably have, like, a bad home life, or maybe their dog died, or, like, you know, family members stressed, like, someone's in the hospital, like, maybe, you know, their house is flooded or something. There'd be, like, a million different things going on in someone's life. You have no idea. Oh, a couple of points here that I'm going to review. A couple of points. It's impossible for everyone to like you, okay? And for you to like everybody, right? It's impossible. So let's start with that. Humanly impossible for everyone to like you and you to like everybody else, okay? Starting there, you're like, okay, weight is lifted off my shoulders, okay? The next thing is, sometimes if a relationship goes bad, all it takes is a conversation and then you can get through it, okay? And the next thing is, like, sometimes it's envy. If someone doesn't like you, it's because they might be jealous of you or they might want to be like you, right? And they just want to be part of the club almost. It's like maybe you're not showing them enough attention. They just want to, they want to be like, you know, in the club with you, or like, oh, you know, this person is cool and we don't get along because I'm not in the club with you, kind of thing. They just want to be in the club, right? Another thing is just like, it's not even about you. It's about their own personal stuff. It's about their own personal things that they're all going through. So, like, you not being liked and you not trying, and like, oh, well, it's not working out. Like, it's just, most of the time, it doesn't even have anything to do with you. And the last thing, just to review, is like making sure that you improve the person that you are and become a better person. You know, just become a better person. Think before you speak. Like, what's our, Poec 1234 has said, you know, actually keeping, you know, think before you blurt anything out. People get really, really stressed about, you know, are the people gonna like me? Man, don't even worry about that. All you gotta do is just make sure you be yourself, be your true self, be your genuine, sincere self, and the people that like you are going to gravitate toward you. The people that are your types of people and the people that you mesh well, they're just going to come to you. If you are who you really are and you are portraying yourself to be your true self when you are on set, the people that you want to be around and give your energy to, they're just going to come to you. And then you're going to find your crew, and then it's going to be great, and then you're going to keep working with them again and again and again, set after set after set. And that's kind of the situation that I'm in right now, where, like, this first and second AD team, they hire me all the time because we work well together, and I love working with them. When I go to work, I'm excited. I know it might be a hard day, but we're going to have fun. You know, like, just, you always are going to, like, when you find the people that you love working with, just happens over and over again, where, like, you keep working on the same things. And yes, it is very, very common for this to happen, because when you want to work with people again, you hire them again. When you like someone, you're like, yes, I love their work ethic, we get along, we mesh well, we have our personalities just, like, fit together, there's this great, like, energy between us. You keep bringing those people on to your projects, because that's how you're going to get through these really long days, is with people you get along with, people you work well with. Yes, like, I'm sure, like, okay, Tim Burton always worked with Johnny Depp. Well, probably not anymore, but, like, either way, it's like when directors always cast the same actors, there's a reason for that, because they work well together. Like, the director and the actor are working together like this all the time, you know? So you have to think about these things. Like, when you finally find your people and you finally get the ball rolling, you're gonna start working with the same people. Why? Because you love working with them. Okay, so Jack, getting to your comment, I find that as an AD, I always clash with the same department on set, no matter what production it is. It's not that hard to shut the fuck up when we're rolling. Yo, Jack, you are constantly gonna have this problem because it takes discipline, and people are bored and they want to talk, and the only way they're gonna get through these long takes is because they want to talk to their friend or their buddy or whatever. So, I mean, I get that. It is a constant struggle for our department. But also sometimes they get really mean about it. They're like, oh, well, fuck sound. I'm like, well, sound is literally half the movie, so like, shut up. So I have a lot of respect for my sound folks out there. Love them a lot. I think a lot of sound people feel like they're not respected by the AD department, which is kind of like, I mean, I've seen this as an example, and Jack, please correct me if I'm wrong. There's always I guess, chaos when it comes to wiring the actors. Now, mind you, we have to hear what the actors are saying. Yes, there is a boom mic and there's a boom operator making sure we get nice, lovely, crisp sound, but sometimes something might go wrong. We need a lav mic as well to be on the actors. I mean, if anyone doesn't know, wiring actors, like putting the microphone on the actor, making sure we can hear what they're saying. Like, if we don't have good sound on a movie, on a TV show, on a web series, on a friggin' clip on YouTube, if you did not have proper sound listening or like watching this exact live stream you are watching right now, most of you wouldn't stay. If you could not properly hear me, if I didn't have like a nice, look at my microphone. I'm gonna hold it up. This is my little microphone. I'm not using the little poppy filter thing, this guy. I'm not using this. But, if I didn't have proper sound, I don't care how good your picture is. I don't care how goddamn pretty the vignettes are or the landscapes are or how beautiful the lighting is through the window and how lovely this actor is lit. If you can't, hear them properly and you don't, if it didn't have nice, sounding audio, we're done. No one's gonna watch that movie. I'm sorry. And that's something I want to stress when you're making your small projects. Invest in sound. And people always want to invest in the camera, and I'm like, no, literally, you can get really, really nice stuff with your phone. Now, this is a Google Pixel, and I love this phone. The pictures are amazing. The video is amazing. You can use your iPhone, whatever you want to use. You can use this phone. I swear to God, I'm about to write a 2-minute film and then post it and be like, I did it all with my phone, and I did it with audio that was on my phone. You know what I mean? Use your phone for the camera, but then invest in audio. Honestly, that's half your movie. That's half your project. When you're starting out small, good audio will go such a long way, and it will take your thing way further than you ever thought it would. Trust me on that. Trust me, quote me, screenshot this right now, save it as motivation. Sound. If you are a filmmaker, sound. I wish all my sound folks were watching this right now, all my sound friends. I'm gonna make sure I tell my little sound friends, listen, I cannot thank them enough for what they do, because honestly, I love sound because the sound folks are very great characters. They all have really great quirky personalities, and they're really great, cool people to hang out with. I don't think I've ever had an issue with any sound people. And as an AD, I think there's that weird animosity between the sound and the AD department because it takes long to wire an actor, and sometimes. And it stems from the sound department feeling like the AD department doesn't respect them, because the AD department's in charge of the actors, right? So it's there's always this weird fight back and forth. But if you start a project and you're like, yes, sound is very important, you let them know they're important, because honestly, every department on set is super important. And there shouldn't be this weird animosity between any department on set, because in order for this movie, this TV show, this project to happen, every department needs to work. They need to do their best. They need to do the thing that they're hired to do. Because trust me, producers are not going to be hiring anyone that's not needed on a set. Trust me on this. Everyone who is there on a set is needed. I cannot say this. Needed. Everyone that you see on a set is absolutely needed. From your set PA to your sound mixer to your grip to your gaffer to your electrician to your costume, your key costumer, to your props people, set dress. Everyone on set is absolutely needed. Okay? Regardless if you like them or not, they are needed. And a certain amount of respect has to be given to anybody on set. Yo, seriously. And I think it's just there's this weird thing all the time where it's department versus different departments. It's so weird. So if you're working on set, congratulations. Okay? You are doing a great job. It is hard to work on set, so I just want to give everyone a shout out who's working on set, working toward their goals, and doing the best they can. So I'm going to end it there. This is the end of my live stream. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for joining my live stream, and I shall see you guys next time.